Hello and welcome to Kat Sara Yoga. I'm Kat and this is 30 days of yoga. Day 24, core. Enjoy the class. Starting in your comfortable seated position, make sure that you are lengthening your spine and that your pelvis is neutral. We want to have the knees just about level with the hips and the pelvis like a bowl of water that's not spilling out the back. So sitting up on a block or a cushion can help. Have your hands on knees or thighs and just allow your awareness to scan over your body, noticing how you're feeling today at the beginning of yoga class. Take in some really nice deep breaths. As you breathe in, just feel everything soft and expanding as the air enters the body. And sigh it out. And again. Maybe even a voiced exhalation. And one more. Good. And just continuing to observe your breath, feeling long and lengthened all up the back of the body, lifted from the base of your skull and the crown of your head. You might like to just take a few shoulder shrugs just to start with, inhaling shoulders up and exhaling down just to find all that space between ears and shoulders. And just tracing your breath in and out. And as we breathe here, we'll take a look at the core engagement. One of the ways that we can think of engaging our core so that you can learn what that feels like. So with shoulders away from the ears and long spine, take a nice deep breath right into your ribs. Noticing everything soft and expanding as you breathe in. And then as you exhale, feel as though you're drawing your ribs in. And then keep that sense of drawing the ribs in as you breathe in again. So you can still breathe. Think of breathing wide and full into the rib cage. But having that sense of the ribs drawn in, so you feel the upper part of the abdominal muscles engaging. So still breathing wide and full into the rib cage. Rib cage expanding forwards, backwards and out to the sides, but not flaring out. You have that sense of the ribs staying snuggled in, so this engagement at the top of the abdominal muscles here. And then we add a lift of the pelvic floor. So feeling as though that hammock of muscle is like an aeroplane drawing its wheels up and in. The hammock of muscle lifts up and in. And so you feel this engagement from the base to the top of the abdominal area. And then thinking of engaging from inner hip bone to inner hip bone. So that broadness across there, and draw that in. That band of muscle across the lower abdominal area, draw that in. So you've got these crisscrossing lines of engagement. And feel that core strength there as you breathe wide and full into your chest. Not letting the ribs flare, they stay drawn in. An even expansion on the inhale, evenly drawing in on the exhale. So today's class we're going to need lots of core engagement. So I hope maybe that's a helpful way of thinking of engaging the core for you. Inhale here and exhale, drop your chin towards your chest. Inhale, look up and over one shoulder. Exhale, chin towards your chest. Inhale, look up and over your other shoulder. Continue with your breath, and we're warming up the upper body, starting with the neck. Keep shoulders drawing back and down, and you might even bring your fingertips down by your sides for a little extra stretch. Make this the last round. Bring your head back to center. Have some big shoulder circles. Inhale, circle up, exhale down. And the other way. And then finding the place where your shoulders are really sliding down your back, away from your ears, as if you could put them into your back pockets and keep them there. Float your arms up to shoulder height, take an inhalation, and exhale as you circle your wrists down. Inhale up and exhale down. And the other way. Good. And releasing your arms down, have a few nice shoulder shrugs and circles. Bring palms to touch. And inhaling, squeezing palms together, feel strength in your upper back. Exhale, drop your shoulders away from your ears. Inhale, squeeze palms together. Exhale, open your hands up like a book. Bring the backs of your hands together, fingers down, and stretch away. Really push your fingers forward as you breathe into the back of your body. So you feel that stretch in between your shoulder blades. And exhale, hands around and up, little fingers to touch, thumbs touch, creating this lotus flower gesture, palms to touch. And then releasing your hands, you might like to just change the cross of your legs, just keeping your body that little bit more even. Inhaling, arms out to shoulder height, and exhale, fingertips onto the shoulders. Inhaling, circling your elbows up, and exhale, back and down. Inhaling, forward and up. Exhale, back and down. We're getting some wonderful chest stretches and shoulder stretches, and then the other way. Good. Working elbows together in front of you, squeezing shoulder blades together behind you. Release your arms. Fingertips come down by your sides. Inhale, reaching one arm up, and exhaling into a side lean, extending from fingertip to bottom hip. Inhale, back to center, and cartwheel the other arm up. Exhale, over, bottom grounds down, sit bone grounds down. Inhale, cartwheel up, and exhale over. Good, let's just do one more each side. And come back to center, bring palms to touch. Inhale, reaching your hands up. Exhale, twist from the base of your spine, look up over your back shoulder. Inhale, reach and lengthen up. And exhale, twist. Good, let's just repeat this in vinyasa. A couple more times each side. Warming up the back, warming up the spine. Good, warming up your shoulders too. And last round, exhale as you twist, look up over your back shoulder. Inhale, back to center, bring palms to touch, and exhale, your hands down in front of your heart. So we'll come forward onto hands and knees, with hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Spread out with your fingers, creases between the wrists and hands parallel with the front of the mat, lengthening from the crown of the head to the tailbone. Gently pushing the floor away. Back of the neck parallel to the floor, and drawing your tummy in gently towards your spine. Coming into our up cat, down cat flow, warming up the back. So imagining you're shining a light from your chest straight down to the floor. Inhale as you shine your light forward in front of you. Curl your toes under into up cat. Bring the tops of your feet to the mat. Exhale, round into down cat. Let's come straight down to child pose. And then flowing on here. Inhaling, shining through to up cat. Tops of the feet to the mat. Exhale, round and down. One more time like this. Good. And then resting for a moment here in child pose. Have a little wiggle side to side. Breathe into the back of your body. Turn your palms to face upwards. Feeling that stretch in between your shoulder blades as the outside edges of the shoulders roll down towards the earth. As you breathe, feel the breath expanding the back of your rib cage. So the breath expands the rib cage, and that helps to stretch the muscles on the back, the rotator cuff muscles in between the shoulder blades and the back. You get a lovely stretch here as the breath fills the body. And then on your exhalation, ground your hands down. Keep that lovely activation in your arms. Spread out fingers. Shoulders drawing down your back. Inhaling, coming up to hands and knees. Curl your toes under. And exhale your bottom into the air into downward dog. Keep flowing with the breath. Inhale, hands and knees. Bring tops of the feet to the mat. And exhale, release back down into child pose. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, downward dog. Good. And we're warming up our whole body, and we're building strength in the arms, the shoulders, the core. As you arrive in your downward dog, you have that little space after the exhalation before the inhalation naturally occurs. Just let your mind clarify your posture, make sure your neck is relaxing, your head is hanging down. Good. Let's do one more round. of the dynamic dog vinyasa. Take your time, come back down to your child pose. Good, keep your arms nice and active. If it's helpful, you can turn your palms to face up again. Feel the outside edges of the shoulders rolling away from the ear. Feel your shoulder blades drawing down your back. Keep that sensation of the external spiral of rotation in the upper arms and the shoulders drawing down the back as you turn your palms down again and ground the palms down, spreading out all your fingers. You might already be feeling a big shoulder stretch. That's great. Grounding your hands, spreading out your fingers, inhaling, coming up to hands and knees. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Lengthen from crown of head to tailbone. Draw your tummy in towards the spine. Find that core engagement. Engaging from hip bone to hip bone. Push the floor gently away. Shoulders away from the ears. Lots of space between ears and shoulders. Back of the neck parallel with the floor. Inhale as you extend your right leg out behind you and lift it up, and I'll let you choose whether you want to lift to hip height, keeping the lower back neutral, or higher than hip height, which will accentuate the curve of the lower back. Either way, keep tummy drawn in, and we can extend opposite arm forward, and then exhale as you bring elbow to knee and curl your spine, drawing tummy in. Inhale, reach, extend. I'm bringing my leg higher, but you could keep your back leg level with the hip if you like. Exhale, round, and one more. Reach, extend and lengthen, and round, and then placing the left hand under the shoulder. Extend your back leg out behind you, place your foot on the floor. Pivot on your left knee, bringing the left foot out to the left. Turn on your right foot, placing the sole of the foot down. Left hand is under shoulder directly. Feel lifted from your armpit, engage across your core, and reaching your right arm up, turning your torso to the side, stacking the hips. And we are here in a modified side plank. Head, neck and spine aligned, or you can tuck your chin and look up at the top hand. Good. Draw tummy in, lift pelvic floor. Feel strong through your core as you plant your right hand down, coming back to hands and knees. Curl toes under, inhale, shine through to up cat, ground toes into the mat. Bring tops of the feet to the mat, tuck your tailbone under, round, and bring your bottom down to the heels in child pose. Hands are planted down, let's do the other side. Inhaling up to hands and knees, broad across your shoulders, push the floor away. Lengthen your spine. Inhale, extending your left leg out behind you, either bringing it just to hip height or higher. Extend the right arm forward, stretch long, lean line. And exhale, curl your spine, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend and lengthen. So you might be in your flat tiger pose, or you might be in your up cat balance. You can choose. See what feels right for your body. If you're in your up cat balance, it's a back bend. Good, lovely. Last one. Place the hand down. Extend your left leg out, place the foot down. Pivot on your right knee, so the right foot comes out to the side. Pivot on your back foot, so you place the foot down and turn the hip on an inhalation, stacking the hips, reaching your top arm up. Modified side plank. Head, neck and spine all aligned, maybe tucking your chin and looking up towards the top hand. And we tuck the chin first because that stops the head flopping back, so you're keeping that spiral of the twist in the spine rotating around a central axis and not pulling the spine in either direction. Good. Draw your tummy in, lift your pelvic floor with control, placing your hand down, back to hands and knees. And we're coming back to down dog this time, so curling toes under and sending bottom up and back into downward facing dog. Have a paddle for your feet. And spend a few moments in your downward dog pose, just clarifying the posture. Nice spread out fingers, broad through the palms of the hands. Relaxing your neck, letting your head hang down. A long lean line from wrists to tailbone. So we're going to repeat that. And that was our modified side plank starting from hands and knees. You can do that again, start from hands and knees. Or you can start from a half plank. So we're lowering down to hands and knees. And if you're going to stay on hands and knees, that's fine. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Or, for a bit more challenge, bringing the hands forward of the shoulders and then bring your weight forward. so that shoulders are over hands directly, pushing the floor away, broad across the back of your body. Keep the weight into the palms of the hands to avoid pressure on the wrists. Engaging your core, tummy draws in, pelvic floor lifts. Bring the tops of your feet flat to the mat. And we're ready for side plank. So then extending your right leg out behind you as you pivot on the left knee. And then inhale as you turn your hips to the left. And you can just bring your right hand on top of the right hip, or you can extend that arm up. So you can feel that you're a little bit longer in this pose now. A bit more work for the core. Feel lifted from the underneath side of your body. Head, neck and spine aligned, or tuck the chin and look up. Good, tummy drawn in, pelvic floor lifted. Ground the hand down, coming back into your half plank. Let's curl toes under. Send the bottom back into downward dog. Inhale, hands and knees, moving through our dynamic dog vinyasa. Exhale, child pose. Inhale, hands and knees. And then we're coming into our half plank, ready for the other side. So clarify your position, clarify your alignment. Creases between the wrists and hands parallel with the front of the mat. Tail slightly tucked, drawing in hip to hip, so across the lower abdomen. Bring tops of the feet to the mat. Extend your left leg out as you pivot on your right knee, bringing the right foot out to the side. Turn the hips, stack the hips. Stretch your top arm up. Feel free to keep that top hand on the hip, just working the left shoulder open. And breathe. Feel lifted from the bottom armpit. Pushing the floor away, that bottom hand under the shoulder directly. Maybe find your Ujjayi breath that we did in day 12. You can go back to day 12 and check it out if you can't remember. Tuck the chin, look up. Good, drawing tummy in, lifting pelvic floor, coming back to your half plank. Curl toes under and exhale, send the bottom back into downward facing dog. Inhale, slowly, hands and knees. Exhale, child pose. Let's have a little rest. Have a circle for your wrists. So for our next round, we are going to come into a full side plank from a full plank. If that's too challenging, then come back to one of the side plank modifications that we've just done. So starting from a half plank or from hands and knees directly. So then from your child's pose, grounding your hands down. Inhale up onto hands and knees. And if you're going to come into your full plank, that's fine. So let's find our half plank first. So hands under shoulders, hips forward of knees. Engaging the core, engaging from inner hip to inner hip, from rib cage to pubic bone. And then you can stay here in half plank, or you can curl the toes under and push the heels away, engaging the fronts of the thighs, being a long, lean line from crown to tailbone. Imagine your sit bones extending down towards your heels and extending your heels away. Whew, tummy drawn and pelvic floor lifted. And then if you're coming into side plank from here, we are going to ground into the left hand, turn onto the outside edge of the left foot. The sole of the right foot can come down just in front of the left foot, and we reach our top arm up, or you can keep it down on the hip. Stay lifted from the underneath side of the body. Push the floor away. Head, neck and spine aligned. Tuck your chin, look up. Whew. Tummy drawn in, pelvic floor lifted. Ground your hand. Send your bottom back to downward dog. Feel free to come to hands and knees there if that's easier for you. And then we're slowly coming to hands and knees. And into child pose. A moment's rest. Circle for the wrists. Ready for the other side. Inhaling up. Find your half plank. Shoulders over the hands, hips forward of the knees. Not sagging through the middle. Tummy drawn in. Engaging the core. If you're coming into full plank, toes curled under. Heel push away. Breathe. Lengthen from crown of head to tailbone. Feel broad across the back of your body. And then bring your weight into your right hand. Turning to the outside edge of your right foot. Sole of the left foot comes to the floor in front of you. Reaching left arm up. Push the floor away with your bottom hand. Extend your top fingers up. Feel extended from your feet to the crown of head. And then grounding the hand down. And sending the bottom back to downward dog. Or come onto hands and knees. So if you come to hands and knees, just make your way up to downward dog if that feels right for you. We're coming into child pose in a minute, so if you want to head straight to child pose, that's fine. And then from downward dog, having a few breaths
A little paddle for the feet, relaxing your neck, let your head hang down. Whew. And slowly coming to hands and knees and resting down in child pose. Have a few breaths resting here in child pose. Maybe circle out the wrists. Soften and relax everything. A little wiggle and a wobble side to side. And just feel that difference between the engaged core and the relaxed core. Relax it now. Feel the earth supporting you. Check in with your face and jaw, lips, teeth and tongue, that they are soft and relaxed. Lovely. Draw your tummy in towards the spine, slowly rolling up to sitting. Bring your bottom to the floor, and you want to be flat on the floor for this one. We're coming into boat pose, Navasana, a great core strengthener. So settling your sit bones down on the floor, long and lengthened up the back of your body, feet are in hip distance apart and knees bent. Taking your hands behind your thighs, walk your feet towards you as you come to the back edges of your sit bones, keeping the lower back really flat, so you're lengthening up just on the very back edges of the sit bones, not sinking into the back of your pelvis. Feel your thighs sucking up towards your inner hip sockets and bring your arms parallel to the floor. You might be able to bring one shin parallel to the floor. Keep drawing your tummy in, lifting your pelvic floor, finding that core engagement. You might be able to bring the other one up too. You might want to have a little swap. Breathe, maybe find your ujjayi breath. Strong shoulders away from the ears. One more lovely breath here, doing so well. And then hugging your knees in cosmic egg pose. Rounding your upper body, breathing evenly into the back of your body. Maybe keeping your toes on the floor or lifting them. Place your feet down on the mat, about inner hip distance apart and parallel. And then take your hands behind you, fingers pointing towards your bottom. Just a little bit behind the shoulders. We're going to come up into tabletop pose. Check your feet are parallel, heel behind the widest part of the foot. And on your inhalation, pushing your hands into the mat, lift your hips up just as high as you can, aiming to be a straight line from knees to shoulders, not letting your head flop back, so keep your chin in towards your chest. You want your ankles just about underneath your knees, not too far forward or too far back. If it feels uncomfortable, lower down, make an adjustment and then come back up again. And with control, lower your bottom down to the floor. So then coming into a comfortable seated position, shoulders away from the ears. Float your arms up, let's just have a few circles out for the wrists. And release your hands to your knees, let's have a few circles for the neck, so long and lengthened spine. Sit up on a block if you need to stay long through your spine. Exhaling, drop your chin towards your chest, and inhaling, circling your chin up all the way around. Exhale, chin towards the chest, and inhale up all the way around. And the other way. Not letting your head flop back. And again. Good. So then coming back to centre, bring your legs out wide, only as wide as you're comfortable to go. Make sure you are centred on your sit bones and use a block or a cushion to sit on if that helps. And it will help if you're feeling any strain in your lower back, or if you're feeling like you're slightly on the back edges of your sit bones. Sitting up on something higher really helps. And we want to make sure that knees and toes are pointing straight up towards the ceiling, spreading out your feet, feeling that activation in the ball of the foot. And from here we're coming into a seated gate pose, so bringing the left foot in, and it can stay here in front of you. You might use a block to prop the knee or a cushion, or you might bring that foot all the way in, just see what feels right for your body. Bring your hands onto your inner hip bones and shift your inner hip bones towards your right leg, the extended leg. Move the flesh of your buttocks back and out the way and sink your sit bone back down. Bring your hands either side of your front leg and see how you feel. So hopefully you are centred on your sit bones, because if you're not, you'll be up on a block, so you will be. You're centred on your sit bone and you might just stay here. You can inquire into going forward a little bit. So inhaling, lengthening your spine, and exhaling, inquiring into tipping forward just a little bit to the front edges of the sit bones. Every inhalation, you feel long through the spine,
And every exhalation, inquiring into tipping forward a bit more. Be aware of what's happening in the back of your neck. That neck is not craning back. And you can introduce a knee bend into this knee. And that will just give you a little bit more mobility to tip forward. But we're not rounding over today, we're coming into seated gate pose, so we're staying long and lengthened through both side bodies. But as we come into our seated gate, it is nice to have a little bit of a tip forward at the hip, because then it will deepen this stretch down the side body in the left. So we're going to stay long and lengthened through both side bodies, and inhale, reaching left arm up and turning your palm to face towards the right toes. You can imagine a line coming out the top of your right toes and reach up to the very top of that line, so you're reaching up and over. Keep thinking of an external spiral of rotation in this left hip, that thigh rolling out. And as that thigh rolls out, you'll feel that deepening stretch all the way down the side body and into the hip. Good. One more breath here. And then gently drawing your tummy in as you root down to lengthen up and coming back to your wide angle to swap legs. So right foot comes in and turning your inner hip bones towards the left leg. Move the flesh of the buttocks out the way. Ground the sit bone down. Have your hands either side of your leg and check you're centered on your sit bones. If not, grab a block, sit up higher. Tiny soft knee bend if there's space behind that knee, so we're not locking into the back of that knee. Lift and lengthen up and inquire into tipping forward. I like to move the flesh of the buttocks back out the way, and imagine that this sit bone is on a roller skate sliding out behind me so that my leg is so long and lengthened. Every inhalation, you feel the spine is long. And every exhalation, inquiring into tipping forward a little more. And then inhaling, reaching your right arm up, rotating chest and tummy up towards the ceiling. You might like to tuck your chin and look up. And we can turn this top palm to face towards the left toes and imagining a straight line coming out the top of the left toes, reaching up to the top of the line. Slowly draw yourself back to sitting and bring this extended leg in into a comfortable cross-legged seat. Have a little shoulder shrug, drop your shoulders down your back, notice how you feel. Bring palms to touch. Bring your thumbs to the third eye point in the centre of your forehead, bow your head. Take a moment to notice how you feel and to thank yourself for your yoga practice today. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. It's wonderful to have you here again. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day or evening, and I will see you tomorrow.